Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 150 of Gains, and this one is titled Make Friends. Oh, you gasped, running over to make sure they were okay. Kiri too had jumped up and come running into the water to help, if he could, and you both got to Bakugo and Shinaru at the same time. Is she okay? You asked Bakugo as he held her. Shinaru, are you okay? You asked her, and she looked at you and nodded, clinging to Bakugo's neck. Did you want to come to me? You asked her, holding your arms out for her to come to you, and she nodded silently and let go of him to reach out to you. You're okay, you said as you took her and hugged her, while patting her back. Good thing Katsuki was here, he saved you, you said with a smile at him, while you hugged her. Shyly she looked back at him, and then quickly turned to you again and hugged you, and you finally connected the dots. Wait, she's not actually scared of him, she likes him and is getting shy around him, you thought, then turned to Kiri. Maybe we should sit down and have something to eat, and then come back in the water, you asked him. That sounds good. I'm getting hungry. I did pack some food, but we could get some food from here. I saw some stalls just over there, he said, pointing off into the distance. Okay, you said, turning to walk out of the water. As you passed Bakugo, you whispered something quickly to him. Hey, just stay here for a second, okay? Huh? He asked gruffly. Stand still, you hissed, giving him a look and surprisingly, he obeyed. Bro? Kiri called when he saw Bakugo had stopped. Oh, don't worry, he's okay, you said loudly to Kiri, giving him eyes to let him know that everything was fine and you had it under control. He could tell something was up, but decided to wait and see what would happen, and so followed you out of the water, leaving Bakugo behind. Did you want to go get some food for us, Daddy? I can give you some money, you said sweetly to your redhead. Oh, he blushed. No, Mama, it's okay, I can pay, he replied awkwardly, and you giggled. Okay, Daddy, we'll just wait here for Katsuki then, okay? You said with a wink. Okay, he said, quickly grabbing his wallet and walking off to the gates. You sat down on the towel with Shinaru and got her towel out to dry her off and pretended like you didn't notice that Bakugo hadn't come out of the water yet. While you were drying her off, she turned to you and pointed back into the water. Stuck, she said, pointing to Bakugo just standing there up to his ankles in water. What's up, sweet? You asked her. What's that? Is Katsuki stuck? She nodded and looked back to where he was just standing there in the water. Oh, you mused out loud. What should we do? I helps, Shinaru said boldly, standing up and toddling down to the water's edge to go and rescue Bakugo. You watched on with an amused smirk on your face as she boldly walked into the water and right up to Bakugo and then put her hand out with a determined look on her face. Come, she demanded, holding her hand out to him. He looked down at her hand and then up at you, and you gestured to her as if to say, well, go on, take her hand. Begrudgingly he did so, and she led him smartly out of the water and over to where you were sitting on the towel with a smug look on your face. Oh, well done, clever girl, you saved Katsuki, you said brightly, as she let his hand go and then jumped into your lap, all sopping wet again, and still with the blow-up floaties on, and buried her head into your chest again. You chuckled and looked across at Bakugo, who was scowling with confusion. What was that? He asked gruffly. Someone likes someone and doesn't know what to do with these big feelings, you said, trying to be as evasive as possible. Bakugo looked at the hiding Shinaru and then looked at you and you nodded. I don't want to be liked, he grunted. Well, too bad. It's happening, you chuckled. Just then Kiri arrived with a bucket of chips and hot dogs on a stick and a bag of fairy floss, and you made a sound of appreciation that made Shinaru lift her head to see what was going on. Chippies! She gasped when she saw the bucket of chips in his hands. Yum! You chimed in. Thanks, Daddy. Thanks, Daddy, Shinaru parroted, and you had to curb your laughter real quick. Kiri hummed with a little unease and Bakugo arced up. Oi, call me Daddy too, you little squirt, he demanded of Shinaru, who had her eyes locked on the chips and could hear or see nothing else. You need to be a bucket of chips if you want the title of Daddy, you chuckled at Bakugo. Oi, E, pass us the chips, Bakugo demanded, and Kiri obliged, handing them to him and a hot dog to you while he sat down next to you. Shinaru's eyes followed the bucket of chips being passed from Kiri to Bakugo, and she hesitated. You want a chip? Bakugo asked gruffly to her, and she nodded her head. Well, come over here. Sit close so you can reach. Slowly she got up off your lap and took one step over to him and then sat down, trying to reach from where she had sat. Closer, Bakugo said, and she came in a little closer. Okay, here, he said, holding the bucket down for her to reach into. "Careful, or you'll burn your mouth," he warned, then clicked his tongue to his teeth. "Here, I'll cool it down." He then took the chip from her and blew on it to cool it down a little and then handed it back to her. She took it and started eating it eagerly, and he smirked. "See, it's good, right? Have another one." Bakugo was so into it that he didn't see you and Kiri giggling to yourselves about how much of a good dad he was being, and he was well on to his 4th chip blowing when he looked up and caught you both gossiping away on the other side of the mat. "This doesn't mean I like the little runt," he snapped. "Stop looking down on me." Just then Shinaru stood up and walked over and sat down right next to him, and his attention was drawn back to her. "You're cold. Where's your towel? Yin, throw me the towel," he demanded, looking up at you, but then saw you stifling another smirk and arced up. "Stop it, damn it," he grunted, and you giggled as you tossed him her towel. "Okay, Daddy," he teased. "Daddy," Shinaru said with a smile up at him, and he softened a little, but then scowled to hide it. "Let's put this on," he said as he wrapped the towel around her shoulders and tucked it in around her. "Okay, now keep eating. We've got lots of playing to do after this. You need your energy." You and Kiri looked at each other and giggled. "Well, looks like it's going to be you and me today, Daddy," he said to Kiri. "Katsuki Daddy has got the baby today." This is the chapter that you all know that we all needed. Stay tuned for chapter 151 coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.